Hey friends, welcome back to Mermaid Tarot. I'm Becca. I hope you are all doing well. And I just wanted to do a video response to Anna over at Astral Tarot. She's doing a hashtag Cliche Tarot Reader series and different ways that, people think that we are a, cliche tarot reader. So I was going to touch on some of the points and maybe add a few of my own. So grab a seat, grab your coffee or your tea or cocoa, whatever you like to. And join me. So the first thing she talked about was, do we as tarot readers own more than one deck? Yes, I do. I am guilty. My favorite deck is the Dreaming Way tarot deck. As I was getting back into tarot, everyone recommends a RWS deck, and I ended up looking all over the internet for RWS decks, and I didn't like the original one that I learned with in my 20s. And so I came across the Radiant Wise Spirit Tarot. It comes in this little box, and I liked it because, one, it was borderless, and two, the colors were a muted, well, not so much, I guess muted, yeah, softer palette. There's more blues for the sky, and the sunsets and stuff, they were just more gentle, more watery, more earthy, and I really like this deck to get back into it. And this is one that I use pretty frequently. But I had a hard time getting back into tarot, learning on even this one with all the symbolism and things like that. If you didn't know, I actually have a brain injury, and so I learn things as if I'm learning them all over again, and sometimes I'm relearning them. So anywho, I love learning about tarot, and I love relearning about it over and over again. This is my favorite one, and since it's a tuck box, I made, I guess, I don't know if there's other tarot readers out there. I love crochet, and as I was getting back into crochet, I was like, I can make a bag. So this is my first tarot bag for my Dreaming Way Tarot. It didn't quite come out exactly as I wanted, but it fits my deck perfectly, and I don't even want to change it at all because I just feel like that's just part of the process. So this is one of my, it's very vintagey, retro with the black and white checkered, like a brick red. Sorry, it's upside down. It has some muted tones, and I just related to this deck really, really well. And so that was the one I really learned on side by side, these two decks together. So I do have a backup of my Dreaming Way. That was the other question she had, was, do we have backup decks? So do we own more than one of the same deck? And yes, I do. I was waiting for the vintage tarot to come out. It's been out of print. It was just released, and so I have it on pre-order, and I really like that kind of old-timey tea staining. So I did actually order 2 of those because I think that's going to be my new favorite one, because this one is borderless and blown up on the images a little bit, and so that one's going to show a little bit more of all the image, and so I'm really excited to get to use that one. So I'm going to share a couple more tarot decks. I've been looking, I just don't like the bright yellows. Just find it very hard. I have Berlin syndrome and dyslexia, and so the bright colors and everything make it difficult for me to actually look at and see things. So this was one I found. It's by AGM. It's the Tarot of A.E. White, and this one is, I believe, the premium orange box. It's a nice little tier, and you get your white book. the backs are kind of like a, I don't know, like a, my lighting's probably not very good. It is orange, and it's like pebbles or stone. I don't know. It looks really cool. So here it is, and it has the full image, and the colors are a lot softer, and the blues are a lot bluer in it. Um, so this was one, I was looking at the Centennial deck, and I like that one, but this one someone did side by side, and the images of this one are a little bit brighter and not as dark as the Centennial one. So I'm still considering getting the Centennial deck to have as another classic one, because I might want to compare it. I like that it comes in a tin, because I like tins as well. So this is another beautiful classic deck that I love to have. So, okay, so I guess that's the other thing I found was it's not necessary to own a vintage deck, but I'm going to add this to the list. Do you own a vintage deck? And yes, I do. I actually, I feel like I just was meant to have them. I stumbled across them on eBay, the Arcus Arcanum one, I guess the new one that came out, and I stumbled across one YouTuber that had a vintage Arcus Arcanum, and somehow I was just, Googling and searching, and anywho, I messaged the seller. They only had one, and I said, I'm not going to be selling this deck. I just want to use it for myself. And so this one has these beautiful blue backs, and all the images are really cool, like comic booky. Like, I grew up in an era where comic books and cartoons were just the thing. I grew up in the 80s and 90s. And this is just a real, and this one's in English. There's, I believe, a German version out there available. And I just love this deck. Love this deck. So I do own a vintage deck, and this is one of them. And I'm planning on making a bag for it. I haven't got to that. So I did come across another vintage deck by someone who had a family member that passed away. And so I've got it in my bandana here, because the box is a little rough. So it's called the Tarot of Love. What's that? I'm not a pink kind of girl, but I really do like the images on this. And so this, and I did a reading. I've done readings for me and my husband on this one, and it is just awesome. I just love it. Oh, here's the back. And I just fell in love with it. And it's really fun to do some love readings with this. It has some different spreads, some different questions. So that is my other vintage deck that I fell in love with. And I need to make a bag for it. But in the meantime, I have it wrapped up. So let's see. Vintage decks. Okay. So the other point she mentioned was, do tarot readers have a tarot tattoo? Sorry, y'all. I love tattoos. I've always wanted to get some tattoos. I am super sensitive to a lot of things and have autoimmune disorders. So getting inked up, I don't think is for me. And I felt really sad about that, but I do get to appreciate everybody else's beautiful tattoos out there. I think that's really cool. So I love tattoos. No, I do not have one. Coffee or tea is the next one. yes, I am a coffee drinker. I like to have a cup in the morning and maybe a small cup in the later evening if I'm really tired. Sometimes that might be hot cocoa. Sometimes that might be um, some really good milk with Carnation Instant Breakfast because it's got extra minerals and it's delicious. I think I'm going to add, I do like tea, and I think I tend to drink more of tea in the fall. So, like in the fall, in the morning, I'll wake up and usually have probably some raw honey and, elderberry, or have some extra vitamin C in the morning instead of coffee with my elderberry and raw honey. And so I'm going to add something to our list. I know she didn't mention it, but do you have a special mug? Do you have a favorite mug? I've had several favorite mugs, and I've broken all of them, unfortunately. I had some beautiful mermaid mugs, and I've been having a hard time finding them since this whole pandemic. So if you do find a beautiful mermaid mug, um, message me because I'm looking. And this is what I ended up getting at like Hobby Lobby for me and hubby. Um, as far as a cute mug, I don't know. I love cute mugs. I don't have enough of them. And then we're going to move on to the next one. So she said, as classic, as tarot readers, cliche, do we own crystals? Oh, yes. Now, I had a bunch of crystals when I was younger, and a series of unfortunate events happened, and I sadly had to pawn all of them. So within the last 5 years, I have been slowly gathering up my treasures again. I got, and I do like to have a special place for them. I found this vintage brass pedestal bowl. A lady had a set of them that she was selling. And anywho, I put my crystals in here, and I have them on my altar. Got just lots of, try to have just one of each that I find, or if I'm just like really attached to something. I'm really obsessed with hearts. I don't know if anybody else out there is. I love the heart shaped ones like a lot because especially I like to put them in my pocket or in my bra and carry one throughout the day with me. Or if I'm feeling stressed, or they have different properties that kind of address different things, and so I'll pick out that one and I'll take it with me throughout the day. So that's kind of how I work with them. I also do some guided meditations at home. I'll put some music on and I do a walkthrough of a guided meditation in my mind, and I'll hold on to certain crystals and I will burn incense. So I think was that on her list? I don't think it was. So let's see. I love incense. I love it. I love it. I just love the smell. I love how it cleanses everything. Um, if you burn incense, I'm sure a lot of other tarot readers do. I don't think she mentioned it. I did find this cute little brass Aladdin little lantern thing that is an incense burner. It was an Etsy shop I found through a friend, and she collects all kinds of vintage things. And she had this, and I was like super excited to get it. And when she sent it to me, she sent me this vintage bell, which also cleanses and clears the house of things. So I love, I don't know who else has a special bell out there. If you do, comment below and let me know. This one is a brass one as well with some beautiful inlay. And I'd have to look up where it is from. I don't originally remember. Along the lines of incense, I'd love to grow herbs and I'd love to grow things in my garden. I don't know how many other cliche tarot readers out there are like into that thing. I love growing we have a kitchen garden out front. I shared that in the last video. So I've got some white sage bundled up for cleansing and burning and wrapping. I have a soapstone bowl for it, and then I have a lot. I love incense. I'm kind of obsessed with it. So this is, I believe this is from my aunt from New England, and so I believe this is where this is from. And so this is a seashell, and I've got some Palo Santo wood, and I'll burn it and have it hanging out here, and then put it out because I'm a mermaid here by the ocean. Y'all didn't know, that's why it's Mermaid Bay Tarot. Over here, ocean. Let's see. So the next one was tarot books. Yeah, I've got some tarot books, but I really like to try to buy used books. I try not to buy new books all the time. If I can't find a good used book, I will buy a new book, but I don't like doing that. So this one was used. This was a pre-owned one. This one was about crystals and healing, and it came with a deck of cards. I don't know if there's many of this available, and I haven't done a video on it. Got a couple other books. This one is the Rider-Waite one. I did a video about some books, but I didn't share all the books that I have. This one is Love Tarot, Tarot Love. I like. Got some different books on numerology, and I've got some other different books on magical oils and herbalism and things like that, and making tinctures and things like that. Some different spell work. So lots of books. Oh, I forgot to mention, I love for incense. I'm kind of an incense snob. We do have like a metaphysical store here, and so they sell the Chiedo. You can get it on Amazon as well. There's different scents of the Chiedo, but it smells amazing. And then the other one is I usually get the Hem brand, Palo Santo, myrrh, or frankincense. Those are kind of my favorite ones to work with. And very calming, soothing. I like those. Those are probably my top three. I'll get some lavender, but it seems to be a little bit much. My husband doesn't care for the lavender too much. It's a little overpowering, so we don't really burn the lavender one as much. And I do have some different herbs that I can burn. Tarot journaling. Do I have a tarot journal? Yes. Actually, just have been like thinking about, I started one and I couldn't figure out where I put it, for one. And then two, I was like, I have a hard time with journaling. I don't know if anybody else does. Had some bad experiences because I actually used to write poetry and some journals, and I've had some people destroy them on me in the past. And so I have a fear of writing in a journal, which is probably, I don't know if I'm the only one out there. If you're not, if you're have the same feelings or something happened to you with that, I struggle with writing again. So that was something that I really thought deeply about, and I'm really trying to journal. So here's my journal. I got some sticker paper and a ribbon, and so I printed up an image of one of my favorite cards with the moon. There's another beautiful image that I printed up, and so I got some stickers and my notes and things that I think about during readings, or things that I'm learning about and I want to write down. And so I'm trying to go card by card and write down what I feel, what I see, the symbolisms, the meanings, things like that, just for like my own reference book. That's like, everything's kind of like right here. Was there something that I learned in this spread that made me think differently of how I see that card? So I will write that down in my journal. So I have been working in my journal. And then I made another one for my tarot decks in inventory. So I know what decks I've purchased, when I've purchased them, kind of how much I've spent on them. Usually if they're on sale, that's what usually gets my attention. I love sales. I have a hard time resisting them. I'm sure many of you are out there with the same feelings. And if there was a deck that came into my home that I just either couldn't feel like I couldn't connect with, didn't like working with, or just felt like I wasn't really going to use it, I have rehomed them to other friends that I know in my Witchy groups, and I feel really good about sending them to a home that someone else is going to use them and love them. I'm just trying to keep the ones that I love the most and use. Shuffling. So I absolutely love, this is something I wanted to do. I love shuffling. I love, here's a little story behind my shuffling, is I grew up spending a lot of time with my grandparents. My grandmother and my grandfather both love to play cards with friends, with family, with me and my brother growing up. And so I played a ton of card games. Like, I knew all the card games. I knew all we played cribbage and anything. And so my aunt and my grandmother, and they were big overhand shufflers. And I was just a little kid, right? And so I got these little tiny hands, and I'm like, I can't grab the decks and hold on to them and overhand shuffle. I just seem to not be able to do it. And so my grandmother taught me to riffle shuffle. And as much as I love to riffle shuffle, I don't want to wreck my decks because I just love my decks. So, yes, I love a good riffle shuffle, but I prefer to overhand shuffle. And every time I shuffle, it is a reminder to me of time spent with my grandma, time spent with family and friends, and it's very soothing. It's very relaxing. Sometimes I don't even pick a card. And anyway, so that's just my shuffling. And I like to take jumpers. So I like to take the jumpers. Very rarely do I pick a card. So shuffle. So she mentioned fairy lights. Now I love fairy lights. I don't know what is up with everybody loving fairy lights. I don't think we have any right now. I tend to put fairy lights out in this room more towards the fall and the holidays. And all of our fairy lights are, hello, welcome. All of our fairy lights are outside in solar. So we've got purple and white, different colored fairy lights outside. She mentioned candles. So I do love to burn candles. And I make my own Bath and Body products. Hence my Etsy shop, Becca's by the Bay. And so I've got some upcycled candles here with the mermaids. This one is protection. This one is a beautiful one. I love this one. It has sandalwood, vanilla. Let's see. Is there something else in this one? I use 100% organic soy wax with a cotton wick. And sometimes I do some pure essential oils in my candles. And so these will burn for a really long time. This is like a 60-hour candle. And so I'll light a candle when I do some readings. So I do love candles. I love the smell of them. And we have a little home, so it fills our home up with such a beautiful, calming, relaxing scent. And I need to make some more candles for the shop. I've just been so busy with hubby. So, but we do have some in the shop. So a tarot table. Do I have a tarot table in my house? Um, yes and no. So we have a kitchen farmhouse table. We have a little home. And so sometimes, I found like I was doing a lot of my tarot reading and my book reading and things like that over there. But I have a lot of crafting that I do for my Etsy shop. And then we need to eat throughout the day. So I just felt like that wasn't the best space. And I since there's a bookcase over in our kitchen eating area, and I have since moved my tarot collection to this corner in our living room. And then I have a small altar by our front door. And then I have a coffee table right here where I'm usually uh, either working on something or answering messages or packages for the things like that. And my coffee table is actually my tarot table. Um, I will pull out my tarot cloth. I have like a tapestry kind of like this, but with the moons. So I've got like a tapestry with like the moons on my coffee table because I haven't had a chance to refinish it. And then I grab my tarot astrological space one. I'll grab this one. This one's really nice. It's really soft, velvety. And I'll grab that and I'll lay that out and I'll light my incense or my candle and I'll do my meditations in the morning with my coffee. So if you have an altar cloth or a tarot cloth, let me know. Let's see. What else did she say? Let's see. So that was it. I think the other things I was going to add to the classic or cliche tarot reader was, or is anybody else into herbs and herbalism? Because I really am. I do some spell work, but not a whole lot. Really busy here. And then I guess I just thought, you thought the cliche tarot reader was like a gypsy woman with the classic, scarf and the gold earrings and the tattoos and all the jewelry and the flowy skirts, and you just thought she was a witch. I mean, you thought she was witchy. I mean, I grew up being told that tarot readers were witches, probably my whole life, and even in my religion, Christianity, I was told that just really not looked upon, that they were either witches or working with the devil or all kinds of stuff. Um, that's something I've had to like realize that was not true. And when I got back into tarot, just researching it and everything, it was like this is a system that's been around for a very long time, and it has nothing to do with being a witch or being worshiping the devil or any of that stuff. So it's a tool, and it's a tool that I use for my spirituality. It's a tool that I use for doing readings for friends, and it presents itself in a way that we can see our lives and the human experience and what we're going through, what we've been through, what we're going through right now, and what possibly could be ahead of us. And it doesn't really predict the future. It just teaches us how we can deal with our emotions and things that are happening around us and how that all ties in astrologically and everything like that. And I really enjoy that. It gives me a sense of, I don't know what to say. It just, I feel like it helps me work out anything that I might be going through, that I might be struggling with, or give me a better reflection on how things are happening around us with, the world, with friends, with, whatever the situation might be. It just gives me a really good insight, and it really is really good for meditation. There's so many decks out there now that I didn't know were out there before. When I first got into tarot in my 20s, I'm in my 40s now. There really weren't that many tarot decks or oracle decks, and I came from a really small town in Massachusetts. And as witchy as it was over there, um, my town wasn't, you know, and I think we was, let's see, I was probably a teenager when our mall first was built. We didn't have a mall, and that's when like Spencer's came to the mall, and that's when they had like, tarot decks, and every now and then they'd have like a tarot reader at the mall or something like that. And so that was like probably my first exposure to tarot reading, and it was definitely the cliche girl with the kerchief and the skirt and the gold earrings, and my reading actually scared the crap out of me that I had with her. And then later on, as I reflected back on it, it was like a lot of things came true. But I see now that I was stuck in some toxic patterns with toxic people, and a lot of the things that came true were because I was stuck in that pattern. And now that I'm not, um, you know, things are a lot better. Or, you know, and tarot is not as scary now that I've been researching it and getting back into it. And I've really enjoyed my collection. So I'm going to share some more videos. I'm not planning on having a huge collection. I've been pretty picky about my collection. Most of these are actually oracle decks because I like picking oracle decks throughout the day or each day. We could be busy, and just having one or two cards from our oracle deck just kind of sets my spiritual intentions for the day. And so I probably don't draw on the tarot every single day. More like weekly. I do my weekly readings, sometimes a couple of times a week. But unless I'm asking something, I don't really need to take out the tarot unless it's something for study. So if I'm studying it, that's different. But if I'm taking it out, I'm taking it out with an intention and a purpose to ask a question and to sort something out. I don't just take it out to play with it. So I do respect it as a tool. I respect it as the art form that it is, and all the meanings and symbolism that goes behind it. So I think I answered all the cliche tarot reader questions. I guess the other thing was, am I a witch? Well, I don't know. I haven't really come to terms with that. I definitely like a lot of witchy things. I like candles. I like incense. I like growing stuff in our garden. I love growing herbs. I like working with them. And I like making, like, our bath and body products are all natural, and they have a purpose to address something. So our lotions are just for, you know, eczema and psoriasis and bug bites, or, you know, certain things that are addressing an issue. And I'm resolving that with the herbalism and the natural products that I make. Or our goat milk soaps are all natural. So, kind of a green witch, eclectic green witch. I don't know. I like a lot of different things. Just like growing things. And if we had more space, I'd probably grow a lot bigger than what we have here. So I do share some of my garden videos on Becca's by the Bay Mermaid Homestead. And my Etsy shop is Becca's by the Bay, where we do have a little bit more of a witchier lineup in the shop than what we used to have. And mostly all mermaids. Like it's mermaids, it's ocean, it's relaxing and tranquil stuff. So I've got other crystals here on my computer. I always have night, and I put some other ones that I usually keep certain stones around my computer. So I've got like a blue obsidian. These came in free in my last order, and I'm not quite sure what they are, so I need to look them up because they didn't tell me what they were when they sent them to me. If you know what these rocks and crystals are, drop a comment below. I'd love to know. Always learning, and I love learning. So thanks for hanging out with me and finding out, am I a cliche tarot reader? I will put the link down below to Astral Lady's Tarot Readers video. Several other people have done videos responses to this, and I hope you check it out and give them a thumbs up and hit subscribe. And we'll see you guys next time in the next video.